Hey guys, welcome to the Emergence podcast, a podcast that aims to empower fitness professionals through candid conversations about building sustainable minds, bodies, and businesses. I'm your host, Laura Gunder, ex professional ballet dancer turned classical Pilates instructor based in New York City, sharing my insights from a decades long journey navigating an industry with no set path to success. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hey guys, it's Laura. Happy almost end of summer. It's insane how fast the summer is going. Welcome back to another walk segment. Last week we had Jordan Fairclough, which was one of my favorite episodes I've recorded. He's such an incredible person and also coach. And I really enjoyed the conversation I had with him and sort of the wild way in which we connected, which was just through DMs and Instagram and kind of being brave enough to put yourself out there and connect with others, which is something this podcast is actually already doing, which I love. Some of my friends and some of the people who've been on this podcast are actually starting to work together, and because they've been reaching out for collaboration with each other. And I highly recommend you guys cold DM people because you never know what can happen, and people are really willing to help you, and it's a great way to connect with this community and really help you to open up doors for yourself because in this career, and I think just in general, sometimes waiting for opportunities is less I guess, efficient than trying to open those doors yourself and just being okay with being a little uncomfortable putting yourself out there. And with that, I kind of wanted to reflect a little bit about what Jordan and I talked about. And something that was really sticking with me from the episode is kind of when you've built something of comfort and stability at a certain place in your career, whether that be with your clientele, you kind of are just comfortable with your clients, or you're just really comfortable in your comfort zone in general. And you kind of have this internal knowing that you want something more, there's more out there for you, or that you just don't feel like fully happy. And that place where you kind of come to heads with the fear of kind of betting on yourself, trusting your instincts, and kind of going forward in trying to pursue something that feels more fulfilling and exciting and more in alignment with the person you want to be or are becoming. And this episode and this conversation really kind of reminded me about some scary points in my career, but having kind of the courage and moving even with fear kind of has changed my trajectory, not only in my career, but my life. So I kind of just wanted to reflect on some of the major moments in my life where I kind of bet on myself to kind of help you guys maybe feel more confident in yourselves to, yeah, like trust your gut and understand that you've built a foundation for yourself to land on your feet. And starting kind of with my first point about something I reflect on a lot, depending on, your financial background or kind of how you've set yourself up connection wise. I think, like I mentioned in this podcast episode, it is really important to make sure that taking calculated risks. I think risks are amazing in life, but I think you need to have a certain sense of safety in externally to really take big major risks in your career, meaning like systems in place like a support system, connections, or at least knowing that you have maybe a safety net financially or some kind of secondary stream of income before making big risks, because you won't be able to fully rise to the occasion of taking those risks or opportunities if some of the factors such as your finances aren't straight, or you're going through any health conditions, or maybe you're not in a great place mentally. It makes it really hard to fully be present and show up as your best. So I would recommend before making any big major life decisions and totally pivoting your career, you really kind of make sure that you have the things you can control in order before uh, totally destabilizing yourself. And I mean that in the best way because I think like destabilizing your life is one of the best things you can do for yourself. But to fully do it and be able to do it in a way that I think best suits us, we have to be realistic with having some sense of security. Um, and at least in the fitness industry, I can speak on that because a lot of us are working hour to hour and you don't want to put extra stress on yourself because you're already running around and probably already exhausted. So just make sure that you create a little bit of a safety net or are really smart and tactical about making big life decisions or going out to work on your by yourself. For example, when I started working for myself, I was actually working part-time at Equinox because they had health insurance. It was a steady income, and I also taught classes there as I was building my own private business on the side. And I did those kind of in tandem and parallel until I got to the point where I was felt comfortable enough in my self and in terms of like the clientele I was building outside of Equinox to leave. And for me, I felt that it actually really helped me to create sort of a safety net in terms of building a relationship with the studio owner, my mentor, Katie Yip, who helped me so much, giving me clients and helping me kind of set up a stable client base outside of Equinox. So when I did leave Equinox, it was kind of a seamless transition and it was still difficult and I still had to do a lot of building, but I had already kind of set myself up in a way that I knew I had somewhere to land. Even though it was completely risky, um, it was a calculated risk and the payoff was immense. I probably tripled my income within a year, but that was took a lot of work and thought and calculation. So I just kind of would urge you guys when you are thinking about going off on your own or changing something major in your life that you think about what are your top stressors. For me, my top stressors are feeling financially secure, and that's just mine. I talk about that a lot. But yours could be other things like having a support system or having like a like community around you, or maybe something in your own health isn't great and then, you should attend to that or something. But sort of knowing your top stressors, I think really helps you kind of regulate your emotions and regulate your body and nervous system. So when you are doing things that are really scary to you, you kind of are able to do it in a way that you can best support yourself because trying new things, doing things that scare you is really a lot on your body as well as your mind. So, if you can be really honest with yourself and really aware of your needs to make yourself feel secure in ways that you can control, then all the factors outside of that kind of just will make it easier to kind of handle those new external factors that are way out of your control if you feel stable in your control factors. Something that I really love that Jordan was kind of talking about. One of my favorite quotes was he's chasing a feeling. And I think so many of us start fitness because of that feeling, because of our love for movement, because of our love for making clients feel stronger and leave us feeling better and happier. And that's something that I think we kind of sometimes can lose in overexerting ourselves or over giving or not putting up any boundaries. And something about this conversation really reminded me the importance of really tuning into yourself and really listening to your needs, your body, your intuition, so you can kind of keep that brightness and energy and light, not only for yourself, but also for your business and clients. And really be honest with how much recovery time you need and what you need to give yourself in order to show up in for your clients in the best way possible. Jordan was also speaking about kind of his struggles with mental health and how kind of getting to know himself better and talking to a therapist and kind of letting him celebrate himself kind of has been really helpful for him. And that was really cool to see, especially from kind of the male side But I think that's something that a lot of us don't do and sometimes feels ridiculous to give yourself a pat on the back. But I think we do need to remind ourselves about how much work we do. And even if you don't feel like you're where you want to be, like looking back and thinking about where you were, or the fact that maybe you tried something new, or that a client sent you an amazing text saying, wow, like my back hurt, it doesn't hurt anymore, or that your clients leave with a smile. Like, I think we do need to celebrate those little moments because this industry is brutal and hard and can be draining and exhausting. And your job is to be the light, to show up in the brightest light possible. And we're all extremely hard on ourselves. So I think if you don't take those kind of check ins every once in a while, to kind of be proud of yourself for where you came from, where you're going, the fact that you are juggling, running your own business or running around the city, teaching multiple kinds of classes, maybe different clients, running around to house calls. Like, that's amazing. And it's really fucking hard. So you should take a moment and appreciate that and really celebrate those moments. Another thing that I think is really important is kind of being honest with yourself in terms of what you need to feel happy and bright, and that changes as we go through life. So it's not like it's a set in stone thing, but I think it's important that we do take time for ourselves to really think about and feel who and what makes us feel most alive. And this conversation really kind of sparked why I kind of created this podcast, because I think that sometimes a lot of us, or at least for a long time, I felt like I was kind of sleepwalking through life and kind of going through the motions because I had so much fear around feeling safe and secure, not only in my professional life, in my personal life, in my body, and taking the time to really work um, on feeling secure in myself and building confidence in my teaching, building confidence in myself just personally really has helped me kind of stay more in tune with who I am and what I value. And then I can make decisions in my personal and professional life that reflect that. And even if they're hard decisions, I can kind of anchor myself in knowing that the person I want to be and the decisions that I'm making kind of need to align. And when I feel like those things kind of don't align, and I will have to be really radically honest with myself and try my best to change those decisions if I want to have a changed outcome. And it's scary. And like Jordan was saying, it takes time to feel safe to just jump. But when you do take those calculated risks, the payout is amazing. And if you do it from a place of intentionality and from a place of wanting to give to others just as much as you want to receive yourself, doors open up. And it sounds really cheesy, but it's true. And the way, Jordan and I met was through Instagram because I started this podcast. I followed him because I thought his content was quite interesting. We had mutual connections, and he reached out to me and said, "I really like what you're doing. I think I would love to chat with you." And I'm coming to New York from London, these dates, and we made it work. And now I actually hired Jordan, and he's been helping me kind of as a performance coach figure out kind of a little bit more about where I want this podcast and brand of Emergence to go. And it's been really amazing. And I've met so many amazing people through this. So I encourage you guys to take those calculated risks, put yourself out there, and kind of really tune into yourselves and remind yourselves what makes you feel most alive, because that's going to reflect how you are in the studio and outside of the studio. And I really want people to feel amazing because I really know what it's like to feel like you're just kind of watching your body from the outside floating through life. And that's not a fun way to live. And I've totally been there and it's hard. So happy almost end of summer. I hope you guys are enjoying the end of summer, taking some time for yourself. And thank you to who's listening. I really appreciate it. And yeah, enjoy your week, guys. Bye.